Hey there, REM-PCs. Welcome to Rules of Cool, where we interview very special guests, creators, gamers, designers, and world builders. I'm your host, Rem, and today we are going to do something a little bit different. I'll be chatting with returning guest Hjal Nelson, the Errata manager for Catalyst Game Labs, and we'll be starting to build a Shadowrun character together. We'll be taking it slow and focusing on choosing priorities, attributes, and skills today, and then Hjal will be back in November to help continue building. So stay tuned because you won't want to miss it. This week's giveaway is also very special. In honor of our character creation session, we are giving away a actual physical copy this week of Shadowrun 6th World Companion. Shadowrun 6th World Companion, when I say it all together. Type hashtag REMPC in the chat to get your free entry to win. And don't forget, we have new ways to enter our weekly drawing to win our giveaways. And you now have the ability to interact with the cast and crew of Shadowrun Emerald Glitch. So we know by now that hashtag REMPC will get you your one free entry. You can now subscribe to Gen Con TV, which gets you up to 7 entries to win, and 4 edge to give to the player of your choice during the game that comes right after Rules of Cool. But wait, there's more. Channel points can also be used to impact the game. So 500 points allows you to give a NERP to any player of your choice, which is 3 extra die to any roll. 1,000 points gives a point of edge to any player, and 2,500 points gives 4 edge to any player. But wait, there's more. Bits can also be used to impact the game and get you bonus entries for the giveaway. So bits will get you 100 bits, will get you NERPs, which is the +3 dice, and a bonus entry to the giveaway for the week. 200 bits gets a point of edge to give away to the player of your choice and 2 entries. And 500 bits gives 4 edge to the player of your choice and 5 entries to the drawing. So come play with us, impact the run we're on, and we'll be ruling the streets in no time. And now we have some news also in the Rem Alternus world. The relaunch of Mobius Worlds Publishing's Kickstarter Nocturne by Night is live now. It is a Prowlers and Paragons all villains supplement to the Blood and Justice setting. So we've got a ton of content on the Kickstarter that you should check out. If you love superheroes, if you love villains, you should check it out. It's a great game, very streamlined, easy to learn, and a ton of fun to play. Next announcement, if you all love the Shadowrun content we do, right, check out our Patreon. We're releasing character sheets from the show, videos of the character creation sessions, and even sneak peeks at upcoming Shadowrun audiobooks we're producing for Catalyst Game Labs. Head on over to patreon.com/RemAlternus to get in on all the bonus content. Now, time to get started with our character build for the week, so stay tuned, REMPCs. Welcome back, everyone, and welcome back, Hjal. Good to see you again in the troll hat.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back. I have missed doing this. I'll be honest.
Oh, that's awesome. Hjal has been on a lot of the Rem Alternus shows over on our Twitch, twitch.tv/masterofrem. He started wearing the hat with our first D&D episodicals, which was the starter set for The Lost Mine of Phandelver that comes in the starter set. And one of my favorite Hjal stories that you don't get to see because it's behind the scenes, but right before we go live, every time we go live, Hjal always says, "Don't forget to pick your noses." And he did it after we haven't played together in quite a while, Hjal. Love that you still remember that. So thank you.
Don't want to do it on screen. Do it right before.
Truth. Well, Hal, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, what you do with Catalyst and Realm Alternist if you want to, and anything else that you do. And then we're going to dive right into some character creation.
Well, thank you. My name is Hal. I go by the handle Stainless Steel Devil Rat, or SSDR for short, on most of the Matrix. So you may have seen me before and didn't even know it. In the Catalyst realm, my primary hat, besides wearing troll horns, is the Errata coordinator. It's kind of a big job. Somebody's got to do it. I like to think that we've done a pretty good job. There's a team of about 6 of us. We do the labor of love. We do a lot of work to improve the game that we all love.
That's awesome.
Yep.
The passion behind it is clearly obvious, and I love seeing, in the Facebook groups that we share that are Shadowrun aligned, anytime anyone has questions, you can see in the comments how pipes up and knows the rules backwards and forwards. So really great. I like to think you do. Awesome. All right. Well, we don't know what we're going to build today, chat. We're hoping that you're going to help us. But we really want to take it from a newbie perspective. If you've never played Shadowrun before, what are the options available? What are the benefits of going one way versus another? And let's walk through it, and then we'll make the choices with chat as the choices need to be made. So where do we start, Hal?
Well, it looks like we're going to start with the standard character generation system as presented in the basic rule book. The 6-world companion that you're doing a giveaway for does have additional character generation methods. I think we'll probably talk about it at some point, but to stay on point, we'll talk about what's in the core rule book for now.
Yeah, this is going to be a multi-session thing because we wanted to take this slow and really deep dive. So today we're going to focus on priorities, choosing our race, attributes, and skills as there's time. But we can always pick up if we dive in too deep. We can always pick up the next time we meet. So this will be several different Rules of Cool episodes coming up throughout the future months.
So, yeah, the priority system is it's meant to be intuitive, and if you've played Shadowrun as long as I have since the very beginning, you know it without needing to be explained. Not everybody has that benefit. So
it was really confusing for me the first time I looked at it.
I don't doubt it. The basic idea is you've got a graph of priorities A through E, where you can think of it as 1 through 5, and you're going to assign it to 5 different dimensions on how you build your character. And I think we got the Genesis character creator up. Can that be?
Yep.
So you can see in this particular example, we chose a B, then A, then C, then D, then E, and we'll talk about what that means.
Yeah, I think we can change it. Tom is doing it on the fly for us, so.
And actually, while we're on the topic, we probably ought to throw out attaboy to Tyrannian, the guy who created this.
Yeah, seriously, thank you. We plan to reach out and see how we can partner in the future because this is such a great tool, and it's actually being used as well to build Shadowrun 6 World into Roll20 as a character creator. Yeah. So that is in progress right now. So
if I was thinking about it ahead of time, I would have called up his Patreon. He's got a Patreon to help him with his labor of love. So
yeah, I think Tom is part of that too. So Tom, if you don't mind dropping that in for us, that'd be phenomenal. Thanks. Okay. All right. So these priorities.
Mm-hmm.
What do?
Okay, so going across, we have metatype, we have attributes, we have magic and resonance, skills, and resources. So the nature of assigning priorities, that just means you're going to put highest priority to one area. And unfortunately, something's got to be your E priority. Something's got to be terrible.
if you're playing, for instance, a Decker or a Rigger or a Street Sam that doesn't have any magic or is not a Technomancer, magic or resonance would be your E, correct?
That is the one big advantage in playing a mundane, is what we call them in Shadowrun. If you don't have any magic, you don't have any Technomancer abilities, you're a mundane. And that gives you your obvious E priority, which means nothing else has to be E.
Yeah, that's really nice. Man, rethinking playing mages my entire Shadowrun career right now.
Yeah, they are powerful.
Yeah.
And that's you got to get something for not being powerful. You got to be good in some other area.
All right.
So with these going down in more detail, for the meta type in Shadowrun, you have different races you can play. Although the specific technical term is metahumans. The race is kind of a loosely defined thing, like in the real world. Metatype is your standard D&D race. And depending on what you pick, that opens up various races you can play, metatypes. But more importantly, in 6th edition, is that number after the race that you pick. Something that's very different in 6th edition compared to prior editions is you can play any race at any priority. It used to be you had to assign one of your valuable high picks to play an orc or a troll, especially. A design choice 6th edition changed up is that you can still play a troll mage and put your E in race, and you can still be a troll.
Okay.
That is a change from prior design decisions, and I think it's a change for the better, because that allows you to play any race being any niche, which wasn't really mathematically feasible if you wanted to maximize what you could do with the priority chart.
That makes sense.
So that number, it basically is bonus attribute points. They're, depending on the race, you can only spend them in certain ways, but that's, in short, what they do for you.
So you get attribute points anyway, but these, if you depending on how you prioritize this, you get that many more points.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So it's not that you just get one attribute and you're a potato and everything else.
Well, that can happen if we look over at attributes and you do E in attributes. Yeah, you're kind of a potato.
Okay. So if you do E attributes and maybe D for race, you're struggling.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you would want to, but we'll talk about strategy in as we talk about after we go through the arrays.
Cool.
But yeah, that would be a very challenging way to still make a good character.
Mm-hmm.
So the attributes, you have 8 attributes in Shadowrun. And depending on how you assign your attribute pick, that tells you how many points you get to spread across the 8 attributes. Now, every attribute starts at 1. So if you picked E, you can have, everything is a 1, but then you can increase one of them by 2 or add +1 to 2. So that's a very tough choice. I would not recommend that for almost any reason whatsoever. Generally, the more attributes you have, the better. Attributes and skills are added together in the mechanics. That's kind of probably not on topic for character generation, but it's important to know how the game plays in order to build your character. So you're gonna have a combination of attributes and skills, basically anything you do. So if you have a deficiency in one, you can theoretically make it up in the other one.
Okay.
And still come up with a decent dice total.
Fair. Okay.
When it comes to magic or resonance, if you don't want to be any of that, that's an easy choice. Just do E. However, if you do want to sling spells and summon spirits, or do technomancy in the Matrix and hack things without using technology, you've got to pick higher than E. You've got to assign some value there.
And it's an or, not an and. You can't be a mage and a technomancer, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
So the mages and technomancers, they get a special attribute that mundanes don't. It would be magic or resonance, respectively. That's why you can't be both. You only get one or the other.
Cool. Okay.
So depending on how much investment you want to do in your magic or resonance, that's how much you start with.
Okay. Now, question that came up in the chat here, it's a great question. Thank you, Vort, is if you do take magic or resonance, let's say we do priority D, can you later increase that value through karma?
Yes.
Okay.
So after, they don't even have to wait until after character generation. So after we pick this array and you assign like all your attribute points and all your skill points, you get some experience points, which are called karma in Shadowrun. You get some bonus karma to spend even before the game begins. So you can shore up any holes that you kind of left in your character. And that's a big part of the strategy in building a good character.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So we've covered metatype, attributes, magic or resonance. Where do skills come in?
So skills are all the things that you do, as opposed to your attributes are like your general RPG. Almost every RPG has attributes: your strength, your agility, your intelligence. Skills are like more your technical knowledge, like how much you know about close combat, how much you know about driving a car. There are 18 or 19 different skills in 6th edition, and you don't necessarily use all of them. And actually, you can't use all of them because some of them are magic only, and some of them are technomancer only. But you also don't need to really spread them out that wide because the skills are so broad. There's really, depending on what your kind of character you want to play, you only need 3, 4, maybe 5 skills.
Okay.
And then the rest of them are nice to have. But for example, a hacker, if you're gonna play a decker, you need cracking, you need electronics, and then everything after that is just giving yourself more options when you're not hacking.
Okay. Which is good to have. Now, do these skills are these skill points valued in not only the kind of tactical skills, but also in knowledge skills?
Well, that's kind of an advanced concept. That they are two different things. If you've played Shadowrun before, that's a great question. You know that there's active skills and there's knowledge skills. In this edition, knowledge skills don't have ratings. They're just areas of like hobbies and things you know about, and they don't come out of these points.
Okay. All right. And then resources.
Resources is a big one if you want to play any kind of like cybered up street samurai or decker or a rigger.
Because your toys are expensive.
They are. And if you've never played Shadowrun before, if your experience with RPGs or games like D&D, for example, that's one a lot of people know. When you make a Shadowrun character, you're not making a level 1 brand new adventurer. You're making a Shadowrunner is already kind of at the elite level of what they do just by the nature of surviving. So you're not making the equivalent of somebody brand new learning their ropes when you make a Shadowrunner character. So you don't have a very sad amount of equipment options. You couldn't do that to yourself if you pick E for resources, but you don't have to.
Okay. Yeah, usually when I build my mages, like when I built Kiri for Emerald Glitch that is coming up after this, I prioritized magic, and I think my E was resources. I was like, you know what, I'm going to be a broke mage, and I'll fix the gear problem later.
Yeah, the way things work out, that is a common result. Something's got to be E, and if you know how to throw spells and summon spirits to do things for you, you don't need a lot of gear anyway. So
Right.
That's a natural choice to suffer.
Okay. All right. So oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, on the other hand, if you're gonna play like a street samurai, getting all the cyberware and bioware implants are expensive. It's expensive, but you can also compensate for a lower attribute and or skills pick by getting cyberware that increases your dice pools. And it's often, and depending on who you listen to on the internet, it's always a good idea to pick attributes A. I see where they're coming from, and I would only disagree in that it's usually a good idea. It's not always a good idea. If you're going to do a resources A build, I think that's very, very viable.
Okay. All right. So now that we've kind of walked through all of these different types, chat, help us out. What should we prioritize? What should be our A priority? Why don't we start?
Well, I would. Yeah, I guess I'm going to contradict you here live in
front of
international audience.
Get off my show. I'm kidding.
I think we should probably have a character idea in mind.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like, are we going to build like a mage rigger, or do we want to do something simple like?
What do you guys think? What should we build? Feel free to put it in the chat. And while we're waiting for you guys to type in what we should build in chat, I'm going to do another pitch for, we are giving away a free copy of the hard copy of Shadowrun 6th World Companion tonight on stream. So you can enter to win by typing #RemPC in the chat. That gives you a free entry to win. You can get bonus entries by doing channel points, bits, subscribes, and actually impact the game that we're going to play right after this as well by giving edge to different players and causing shenanigans. So feel free to type in that #RemPC, and let's see what we've got in the chat here. We've got a dwarf technomancer, a troll face who dabbles in rigging. Let's see, we've got a couple comments on drivers. Rigger mage sounds like a challenge.
It does.
Ouch.
I don't know how good that is to teach people how to make a character, because that is crazy. However, it would be a challenge.
It would be a fun one, and I'd love to see that. But I think we want to kind of keep it simple for the first.
I gotta say, out of those, the troll face sounds like fun.
Okay, that dabbles in rigging.
Sure.
Okay. All right, let's do it. So a troll face.
Okay, so pretty much because of the nature of how magic and technomancy works, we got to decide yes or no. And if it's a no, that's obviously. If it's a yes, it's obviously D through A.
Yeah.
If we want to keep it simple, a face who's a rigger, I think we could do a technomancer, and it could work great. But I think to keep it simple, we'll do a mundane. So
I agree.
That would lock in our E right there.
Yeah, we can do, once we finish this whole sequence that we're going to do of multiple episodes of this character creation and taking it slow, maybe we can do a challenge one and spend an episode doing that.
Okay.
All right, so E, mundane, done.
Okay. Because of the way 6E does races, we're not required to sync like an A or a B to play a troll like you would in prior editions. We still get value out of doing it, but it's not necessary.
Okay.
This is probably one of those cases where the next thing we want to do is assign A to attributes.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
In good conscience, I can't argue against it in this case for what we want to do. Pretty much, if you ever want to do a hybrid, I want to play this kind of character and this kind of character, you're going to need attributes A, almost guaranteed.
Cool. Okay.
Then after that, you're probably going to want a high skills pick, either B or at least C.
I was thinking B because you get, like, even at C for the meta type, you're only losing 2 points in attributes.
Yeah. So my I didn't say it, but I kind of demonstrated it. My philosophy in building, or how you pick your priorities, you do the obvious stuff first. So if if we're not going to be a technomancer, E's settled. And then just kind of the way the 6E chart works, you're either going to do attributes A or not. So that's the next decision.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because with the resources versus the meta type, we lose 5 attributes now, which is pretty costly in karma. But also toys, if we're doing that dabbling rigor.
Exactly. If we want to dabble in rigor, we can't sacrifice resources. It's got to be, I would say, at minimum C.
Okay. All right. So it looks like we have our set.
Yeah, I would say D is probably a good choice because B and C has to be skills and resources, I would say, for covering 2 niches. I think we could just as easily flip skills and resources, but it'll kind of dictate the character we do depending on how we do the B and C.
Well, and I feel like the with dabbling in rigging, like I think if it was like a serious hobby, we're getting into character now. If it was a serious hobby, definitely want to spend more resources on that. But I think with the dabbling, and maybe they're a beginner dabbler, kind of, they'll grow with it in time.
With resources C, that'll be enough to do some minor investments that riggers are going to need for communications. Maybe a level 1 control rig, maybe not, depending on what they want to do with rigging. And with resources C, that's enough for a fleet of drones, especially if you don't want to do combat drones. Your little spy drones are cheap, so that's plenty.
Okay.
So with attributes, that's going to give us good attributes in multiple dimensions. The social side as well as the things that you need for rigging. Likewise for skills. Had we swapped A and B, that would be possible. I think you're going to get usually more value out of the attributes, though. That's kind of a sad truth in how the values work.
And great thing about Genesis is it's easy. You don't have to burn through an eraser to come back and make changes if you need to.
Exactly.
All right. So I think our priorities are done. And next up is actually selecting our race, I believe, our meta type.
Yep. I think we decided on troll.
Okay. So, yep. Oop.
Yeah. So, we can talk about what being a troll means.
I want to kind of cover this a little more. So anyone who's new to Shadowrun that doesn't know, D&D, you don't really think about playing trolls that often. So let's kind of walk through these basic meta types and what the benefits are of each.
Yeah, the kind of like in the past 10 years or so, like the orcs are people too has kind of taken over D&D and lots of RPGs. Like Shadowrun was ahead of the curve on that. Orcs were people too, all the way back in the 80s. And that was very made Shadowrun stand out compared to like D&D orcs.
Cool.
So trolls are actually orcs, trolls, elves, and dwarves are all metahumans, and kind of the in-universe explanation for what they are is they are a form of human. So they're still the same species. They're biologically human, but they have these different expressions because in the Shadowrun world, magic has returned to the world. And in the presence of magic, some people were actually, they always were orcs or trolls or elves or dwarves. And you just couldn't see it because magic wasn't around. So, so trolls are a kind of human, just like orcs and humans and elves. Trolls are, out of all of them, they're the biggest and the strongest, and they often have horns. Another difference in 6th edition compared to prior editions is there are no downsides to any of the races. So in prior editions, like orcs and trolls would get penalties to their mental stats to kind of like compensate for being bigger and stronger. In 6th edition, they made a decision to do away with that. It's kind of like you could play any race for any priority pick. You don't really suffer. I don't want to say any, because I think there actually is. I think dwarves are actually penalized in reaction still. But yeah, there are. Pretty sure there's no mental penalties, at least. So
cool. Okay. All right. So, and then my understanding as well is that with additional supplemental books, you can go off the deep end in terms of different types of dwarves, different types of elves, different types of hobgoblins, and
Yep.
lots of different options. So there's more than just these basics.
6th World Companion.
6th World Companion. Lots to choose from.
Hashtag RemPC.
Hashtag RemPC to enter to win. It'd be great to kind of give some examples of what is there.
These are actually from the Athletes Ingentis book, but these are also in the 6th World Companion. These troll variants.
The variants, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see the there's a chapter, so from page 74 to 91, it looks like there's all extra stuff and types you can pick through. So
yeah, there are many things. I can't recommend 6th World Companion enough. It's probably my favorite book, even after the core rule.
I do think I think as well too, because I've used in the past Hero Labs to build a character, and that was when 5th edition was around, and it was like the amount of different meta types to choose from was almost overwhelming, where I was like, too many choices. I can't look through all this and read all of it.
Yeah, out of the core rulebook, we got our basic 5. So that's a much more new player to Shadowrun approachable.
Yeah, and so I just found so dwarves, the meta variants. There's Duende, which is the dour. Gnomes, Hanuman, Koborokuru. Man, I love these words. Menahune. And then Elven, like there's like 5 of them that I can't pronounce, some with dots over the letters. It's scary. But like lots of, Valkyrie. Yes, please.
Yeah, Valkyries are new to 6th edition. So
a satyr, I would love that. And then you've got Cyclops for trolls, Minotaurs, Giants, Fomorians. Man, there's a lot here. Centaurs? Oh, I want to be half horse.
Yeah, there are, in addition to all the meta variants, there are like another category entirely called Meta Sapiens, which these aren't even human. These are like something else entirely. Like centaurs are awakened horses. Nagas are awakened and intelligent snakes.
That's so cool. Pixies?
Pixies exist.
Sasquatch? Ooh. I am reading an audiobook right now where there's a Sasquatch as a backup vocalist for a band. Awesome. Cool. So lots to choose from in terms of meta types.
Indeed.
6th World Companion.
At least as many as a game like D&D. So you got a lot of fantasy options in Shadowrun.
There's a question, what are pixies awakened from? So keep talking, Hal. I'm going to look it back up.
All right. So in my taking off an official hat, so in fan theorydom, a lot of people know that Earth Dawn and Shadowrun were originally linked back in the FASA days. That isn't this case anymore because new companies are own the 2 different franchises. However, popular fan theory is that pixies are windlings from Earth Dawn, but that's not an official confirmation. That's not an answer. That's just a theory.
Cool. Yeah, it's like Bay heritage for pixies. In
5th and 6th edition, the pixies are from a meta plane of basically fairy tale meta. It's run by the Sealy Court. Their rivals are the Unsealy Court. I don't remember if the Sealy Court is the name of the metaplane or not, but that's where they're from.
Travel to the Sealy Court.
Yep.
Yeah, so it makes sense that it would be. I love the art in here too, because it's a pixie with like a video game controller controlling a drone or a car or something. Great art.
If you play in SRM, the organized play campaign, there's a recurring NPC named Trouble, who is a pixie bodyguard.
Trouble is in our Emerald Glitch show, so Trouble shows up.
So yeah, awesome. A pixie bodyguard is something that's a thing.
Cool. Okay, so we've picked Troll.
Yep.
Which gives us.
Yeah, we should talk about the qualities.
Yeah.
So qualities in Shadowrun are basically, they're qualities that your character possesses. If we go back, trolls get what? Built tough, thermographic vision. Oh, it's right here. Yeah. Okay. So thermographic vision is you can see infrared heat radiation, useful thing in the dark. Also pretty useful in lots of occasions. Like I can just look at that car. I know if it's been running recently or not because it's either warm or it's cool.
Neat.
Built tough is it's what it sounds like. You're harder to kill.
Well, yay!
And dermal deposits is trolls have keratinous nodules that grow out of their skin. If you're anti-troll racist, it's ugly. But if you believe everybody is beautiful, it's you can focus on the fact that dermal deposits protect you as armor.
Heck yeah. Cool. All right. So those are our cool extra qualities that we get from being a troll. And each one gets their own, each meta type gets their own qualities. So now I think we're on to attributes, correct?
Yeah, you can kind of skip around. We should probably think about the attributes before we do the qualities.
Yeah, I didn't plan for qualities tonight.
Yeah. That is it's a big party.
It's a big conversation. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of what we're looking at in this sheet is it's showing us we can increase our attributes in various ways. That first column is the adjustments. Those are the bonus points we got out of our racial pick, which we picked troll, and at D, what was it? 4 points. Oh, it's actually just says right down here. I don't have to memorize everything.
Hey, look at that. So 24 points, and from our attributes.
Yep.
And then 4 points from our race. Yeah.
So the 4 points were restricted in how we could spend them. So you can always spend it on edge, and trolls can increase their strength of body.
Okay.
Attribute points we can spend on anything but edge.
Okay.
And the edge is a pretty important conversation, but we don't have to do that right.
So basically, we have 4 edge.
Well, strength and body are you.
I'm an edge monster, personally.
Fair. That is fair. There's absolutely value in pumping your edge as high as you can in Shadowrun 6th edition because edge is very important.
Yep.
After those options, we also have our 50 karma we use to do finishing touches with. We can also spend karma to increase attributes as well.
Okay.
All right. So thinking back to our niche we want to do, we want to build a troll face who dabbles in rigging. So the very first thing is charisma because your faces do social skills, like you're fast talking someone into believing you're Buldrek. You're negotiating with NPCs to get paid more money or to sell things for more money, intimidating people, all of that. It all goes off charisma.
You can add your own flavor to it too. Like with Curie, when I first made her for 5th edition, she had pretty high charisma. She had like a charisma 5, but I used to say she has a 5 in charisma and none of it is personality. So like she's pretty, but not friendly.
Yeah. Charisma is like how much people want to, it's like your leadership is another word for it.
Mm.
You can be ugly and charismatic. They are not the same word. Okay, let's actually just go through the rest of these because we know we want a lot of charisma as a face.
Yeah.
Body is how tough you are. Whenever you get shot or attacked, your being high body is good for surviving getting damaged.
And we already have 2 there because we're troll?
No, everything's actually that's the thing we should point out for people who are coming from older editions. Among the other changes that we discussed in how they do races, they all start at 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so trolls can have more body than a human can, but you still got to spend those points to get it. You don't.
Okay.
So everything is a 1 until we change it otherwise. So if you are going to be a combat kind of a character, body is important, hands down. If you're going to try to avoid combat, you don't need as big a high body. But it always sucks if you don't have a good body and you get attacked and you get hit. So that's something to remember. And in a game like Shadowrun, you can't always avoid combat.
Right. All right, so we know that charisma is a priority for us. Body will kind of come back to because between being a face and a rigger, it's possible to stay out of the line of combat a little bit more. So we might want to save some of those points for some of these other ones.
Yeah, so, wow, it looks like trolls do still have a penalty on maximum charisma. So yeah, we're going uphill on this. So, okay.
Oof, okay.
That's wow. Yes, that is true on agility as well.
Agility, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we don't, as a face and as a rigger, agility not about. Agility is for your combat types and for your infiltrator ninja types.
Mm-hmm.
They live and die on their agility. We are probably not going to need all that big of an agility. So that's a little
okay. Cool.
Reaction is a maybe. Reaction is used in driving. And if we want to do like a face wheelman, like we want to do like a Vin Diesel in Unspeedable 900 or whatever those movies are. I don't know what they're called. I'm sure somebody does.
Fast and the Furious?
That's it.
Unspeedable, guys. Can we clip that, please? It made me very happy.
Okay, I'm glad. The reason I'm saying that's a maybe because you use that when you're driving, but if you want to be in VR and drive things with your mind instead of with your muscles, you don't need your reaction. So it's
what do you need instead?
You're gonna need intuition instead.
Okay.
So that's kind of going to dovetail into what is our character idea.
I like the idea of maxing out reaction and intuition to do both because that also adds into the ability to dodge when you are being shot at.
Indeed. Intuition will help in combat.
So
if you want to be an unspeedable, you will need reaction.
Yeah, so I think maybe reaction and intuition should be our next priorities, probably after charisma.
Yeah, charisma is going to be our first priority if our primary job is talking to people.
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing your attributes, our charisma being racial charisma being capped at 5 actually has a lot of repercussions for our character.
Oof.
Because you can only have one attribute starting at maximum. So if our charisma is at maximum, nothing else can be at maximum.
Oh, that's harsh.
It is. So that's usually if you're playing a troll, you would make a combat monster. So we're doing things a little different in making a face rigger. But I think that's kind of what makes Shadowrun fun is you don't have to just go to your stereotypes. You can do it anything.
And can we make up some of what we lack in charisma? Can we make up in the skills that are associated with the role?
Exactly. So
Okay.
actually, if you wanted to avoid charisma taking our 1 maximum, we could leave that at 4, for example, and then max out our reaction if that's what you want.
I see. Okay. Let's leave it as is for now, and then if we want to adjust it based on the further build, we can.
Okay. I would say, since you put nothing in strength and body, and I know you love edge, I gotta say, all right. So personally, edge is important. Yeah. So what I would do is probably spend karma, push strength and body each up. We didn't do anything in willpower or logic either. Yeah, probably do those two. Oh yeah, never mind. That's Let's see. How did we get into that situation with attribute A? We still got 12 points, so that's why. Yeah, so don't do karma yet.
So we'll take the karma out.
Yeah, let's spend another 12 and then figure out what's going on.
Cool.
All right, so willpower is good for resisting fear effects. It's also good for resisting stun damage, which is always important because, like fist fights, you're going to roll willpower instead of body to resist the damage usually.
So I've never played a rigger. So if I am riggering around and I'm in my RCC, and so my meat body is here, but my consciousness is up flying around with some drones, and 2 drones get into a fight, is that going to cause stun damage to me?
Yeah, that's in 6th edition. That's not if your drone takes damage while you're jumped in, you just suffer the drone being, but you don't get damaged yourself on top of it.
Okay. So another one that's a little less important, maybe.
I wouldn't go. I would go at least 2, 3. The reason for that is the way your stun condition monitor is calculated. It's 1/2 rounded up. So at 3, you're going to get +2.
I see. Okay.
Condition boxes.
All right. So let's put that to our 3 then. And then how about logic?
Logic is very important to riggers. But if we're only dabbling in rigging, we may or may not need it. And depending on how hurting we are for points, I'd say let's come back to luck. So intuition, we're for sure going to want a lot of.
Yeah, and reaction as well. And then, in terms of what's left, so we have strength, logic, agility, and body. So how would you prioritize those for a face rigger?
Logic is going to be the most important out of those.
So if we maybe split between those 4, let's put, for now, can we do 2 points in each? And then what do we have left? That gives us 2 extra points for logic, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, what you do with logic is all of your technical skills go off of logic. And riggers do a lot of tinkering with their drones and adding capabilities to them. That's all logic stuff. If you're gonna do any kind of remote gunnery, put a gun on a drone and then shoot that gun on the drone, that's going to be logic as well.
Okay. All right. So we're pretty nice with we've got 4s and 2s assigned to everything, but it looks like over in the value and the max, so we've got 5s, we've got 3s, so we're doing pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, with a priority for resources, or for that a priority for attributes, we shouldn't be in a bad spot anywhere because there's just so many points to give around.
Okay.
How many places do you want to be great is what we got to decide.
So we are coming up on the top of the hour. So we covered choosing your meta type, choosing your priorities, and choosing and kind of talking through attributes. So next time Hal comes on the show with us, which will be in November, we'll dive into the next step, because all of this can be readjusted still. So we'll keep all this as is. And then as we do skills and dive into that, we'll see if we want to come back and adjust any of these attributes. Does that sound good? So in the meantime, Hal, where can people find a community to help them build their own character or ask questions about the character they're building and stuff like that?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. There's Shadowrun Missions Online. Has a Discord server. I think we could probably paste that.
Yeah.
They are officially the Shadowrun Missions campaign, the official organized play for Shadowrun. However, it's a very large community, and you don't have to play SRM there. You can just meet other players and even just ask questions.
Cool.
I'm available there as you can say hi to me there.
Cool. So Shadowrun Missions Online, not only do they have that great community on Discord, but they also do build-a-runner sessions. They have first tastes to get kind of like an easy how to play Shadowrun thing before you dive into a mission. You're welcome to join our server as well at Rem Alternus on Discord and on Facebook and everywhere else. I really recommend it because we've got Hal in our community, Teslan, who's behind the scenes kibitzing about the stuff we get wrong so that we can correct ourselves and tell you guys. And they're both GMs. They both have a lot of experience with Shadowrun and have done missions writing, among many other things. So feel free to join our community on Discord. Tom will get you the link to that as well. And thank you all. We'll see you, Hal. Thank you so much for coming, Hal, and we'll see you
Thanks for having me.
next time.
It's very good to be a REM PC.
Yay! All right, everyone. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned. Our runners have been hired to pilfer a small item from a charity auction. What happens when they discover a larger item that's more familiar? What happened to Fisher, and why is he in Curie's dream? And who is this new Decker? Join us for the charity auction in the next episode of Shadowrun 6th World Emerald Glitch, coming up next. And don't forget that we have a wonderful giveaway of the Shadowrun 6th World Companion, a physical copy to be sent to one lucky winner today. Thank you so much to Catalyst Game Labs for donating such a great prize. You can enter for free to win by typing hashtag RemPC in the chat, and you can add bonus entries by donating bits or subscribing to the channel. All funds help us pay our cast and crew and keep producing content. And don't forget, your bits, subs, and channel points can also impact the game we're about to play. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with some Shadowrun Emerald Glitch. Bye, NPCs.